Hello again everyone, James here again. Today I want to talk to you about the F word. And no, it's not the one that you thought of right away, but it is one that makes people uncomfortable. Now over the last 15 years that I've been working in music, I have worked with artists at every level of the game. From helping out with one of Drake's big headlining tours, to booking bands in basements that you've never heard of in towns that you've probably never visited and never will in your lifetime. And along the way, one thing remains true. Every artist at every level dreams of success. Now, how they define success is a whole different story, which we'll get into in a minute, but the first thing that every artist tells you about is what they're working towards, what they hope to achieve in their lifetime. And today, I want to talk about something that I think needs to be addressed on a regular basis, but all too often gets swept under the rug. And that is the very high possibility that you're going to fail. Now, I don't mean that in a condescending way or to deter you from chasing your dreams, but I think that every musician is better off accepting that they may never be as popular or as successful as the artist that first made them want to get into music. I mean, I speak to a lot of musicians today who look up to artists that are filling arenas and they say, I want to get there. Well, maybe you will. I mean, it's entirely possible that you will. But maybe you'll never get out of the clubs. Maybe you'll have a hard time getting into the clubs. And that's also okay, because what works for one artist and what success is for one artist is and should be different for every other artist. There's no singular path to success, and so success looks like a lot of different things, which is what I want to talk to you about. I think a major problem that musicians have is that we treat failure like death. It's this thing that we know is inevitable, we know happens to all of us, yet we don't talk about it, we don't acknowledge it, we try not to think about it because for some deep-seated reason we feel like doing so will make it happen to us quicker, more often, or what have you. And that's really nonsense. Because failure is not something to fear. We all know that it's going to happen, and it's most likely to happen with things that we care about the most because we put so much of our effort into it. We're trying to make something that is wholly unique to ourselves. We're expressing ourselves in a way that a lot of people are scared to do or never really try to their fullest extent. And so when that failure happens, it feels like somebody is making a comment about us as human beings, saying that we are less than or that we're not worthy of whatever it is that we're trying to achieve. And that's not the case. The fact that you are able to tap into something deep within yourself and create something that is a song or is a piece of artwork in some way, you are able to express those feelings and thoughts and whatever it is that makes you you, that in itself is a success. But all too often, we get hung up on things like follower counts, monthly listeners, album sales, crowds at our tours, tour dates in general. We get caught up in all this other nonsense and we lose focus of what is true success. And in my opinion, that is finding a way to express that thing within us, that thing that feels like if you don't get it off your chest, you're going to like suffocate and die because it's all you can think about. It's all you dream about. It's the one thing that's motivating you to keep going through life, is figuring out a way to express these thoughts and feelings that you have within. And if you've done that, which you have if you've come this far, you're a musician, you're working on your songs, you're trying to build a career in the entertainment industry. If you're doing all of those things, then you've already found success on a level that most people will never really know, and most people are too afraid to even try. So already, being afraid of failure doesn't make any sense because you've come this far. You are a success. But also, as every teacher that you've ever had has probably taught you, failure is just a learning opportunity. So you found a way to express yourself in a way that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel satisfied in some way, but it's not connecting with the masses in the way that you wanted it to. Okay, well at this point, it's not really a matter of the thing that you're trying to do being impossible. There's always a way to sell the thing that you're making. It's just going to take time and refinement, and every failure is just one step closer to finding the right way to do what's good for you. I mean, look at a group like 100 gecs. They make this crazy style of hyperpop that until a few years ago was only really relevant to a very small niche in the world of MySpace. But they have become this artist, or group rather, that the entire world recognizes, and they're working with some of the biggest names in entertainment today. And I'm telling you that did not happen overnight. That didn't happen over a month or even a year probably. It took time to find an audience that connected with what was happening and find out how to sell the product to that audience. But the only way they got there is by failing again and again and again and figuring out their way forward. So there's no reason to fear failure, because every time you fail, you're taking one step closer to where you want to be. It is a necessary step on the path to success. And maybe the reason you're failing is because the goal that you're working towards is far too big. I think that everyone needs to think a little bit smaller with their careers. And I don't mean like you're never going to go anywhere, you're not going to reach that arena level or sell 1 million copies of a record. I'm saying that if your last album sold 100 copies, hoping this one goes platinum is maybe too big of a stretch, and you're destined to fail and feel disappointed in yourself. Make goals along the way. It's all about setting these little milestones that you can celebrate and achieve in time with devotion to your craft. So if you sold 100 copies of the last record, maybe try to sell 1,000 of this record, or 500, or 2,000, whatever makes sense for you. But don't go thinking you're going to do 1,000 times what you did last time. That is just an unrealistic goal that might happen, but most likely will not. So instead, set these little milestones along the way. And when you hit them, celebrate them. Make it a point to celebrate every single success along the way, because that is one step closer towards your big goal, which you will never lose sight of, but that you will get to after achieving dozens and dozens of other little steps along the way. And if I can pull that into myself, I mean, a decade ago, I thought that success in my mind meant that I would be working at a major record label in the marketing department, helping people find their next favorite artist or helping artists find their next fan. And that didn't really happen. I mean, I had the opportunity to do so. I've certainly worked in marketing roles over the time, but I ultimately realized that wasn't some end goal for me. That isn't what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I wanted to help more people, I wanted to engage with more people, and I wanted to learn a lot more than those positions were allowing me to do so. So my goals changed. And while I wouldn't say that I was necessarily a flat-out failure, it didn't become what I wanted it to be. And that's okay, because in the long run, I kept chasing my dream of working in music. I kept adjusting my expectations and my goals for myself and for my career, and I found a place where I'm happy. And that doesn't mean that I'm exactly where I want to be, and that doesn't mean that there aren't things that I still want to achieve. But every single day I wake up and I work a little bit harder on doing the things that I love to the best of my abilities. And, you know, it just keeps going. And that's what's going to happen in your career. You don't have an end point at any point other than when you die. So just keep going, just keep getting after it, set reasonable goals, achieve them, believe in yourself, and adjust as needed, and you will get ahead, I promise. And if you need more encouragement or more information or tips and tricks for navigating the industry, I'll be right here on the Music Biz channel, guiding you every step of the way. So if you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button down below, and if you have my sincerest thanks. I'm happy that we're on this journey together. I hope to learn more about you in the future, and until next time, take care of yourself, because you deserve it.